Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Sunday, January 12th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The national championship game against Notre Dame in 8 days. The game against Michigan in 321 days. The Ohio State Buckeyes back in Columbus now and starting their preparations for the national championship game against Notre Dame. Buckeyes said they'd give themselves 24 hours to enjoy the Cotton Bowl win over Texas. They are now on the clock for the national championship game against the Fighting Irish. But before we turn our attention to that game, let's take one more look back at the Cotton Bowl. We're going to do that with some of the post-game press conference answers from Ryan Day, Will Howard, and Jack Sawyer. We'll start with Ryan Day and just his opening thoughts on the game and what went right for Ohio State.
Give Coach Sark and his staff and team a lot of credit. It's a very good team. A lot of respect for the way he goes about his business, and he's got an unbelievable reputation in the coaching community. And his team played very, very hard today. And it was a very well-fought battle, and they're a very good team. Had a great season. It came down to the fourth quarter, and I believe that the resilience that we've had to show throughout the entire season and through some of these guys' career has led us to this opportunity to win this game and go play for a national championship. And we talked before the game about how do you leave a legacy is, to become your own legend. And there's some guys on his team today that, and I believe, will become legends in Ohio State history. And we also talked about how we want to keep this team together. It's a great team. They've been through a lot. They're resilient, and they're great people. They do everything the right way. And so now they get 10 more days together and an opportunity to tell their story if they go win one more. And so that's really exciting. But going back on the game, just gritty, tough. We knew it was going to be that way. Very good opponent, and just the way that we were able to change the momentum in the game in the fourth quarter, and then balls all the way down to the 1 yard line. We get a stop there, get our pads down, knock it back, and then they go to the perimeter with it, and really great play for a TFL, and then the third down stop, and then obviously what happened on fourth down by Jack just symbolizes not only his career but our team in general and who they are and the toughness, and just the clutch play right there was something that I'm sure the whole city of Columbus exploded in all BuckeyeNation during that play.
There were a million big plays in that Cotton Bowl win, and there were just about as many almost big plays or plays that really set up the big plays in that one. One of the big plays that we need to talk about that I think is probably getting a little bit overlooked is Will Howard's fourth down keeper. Picked up like 18 yards on that play that really set up that final Ohio State offensive touchdown that made it 21-14. Really could have been a touchdown run if Will Howard didn't just barely get tripped up there. Here were his thoughts on that play.
Yeah, that fourth down was huge, man. And they came out and gave us a good look for the play, and O-line blocked it up well. And, I fell on purpose. I'm joking. I didn't fall on purpose. I should have been out. It should have been a dang touchdown, but I was trying to keep a couple seconds on the clock. No, I'm joking. But it was a great play and a statement drive. We needed that. We've been beating ourselves all day with penalties and just getting behind the sticks, and that was a statement drive, man. And the O-line did a heck of a job on that drive, and I think guys stepped up and made plays, and obviously what the defense did on the next drive sealed it. But they bailed us out all game, and I can't say enough good things about this guy sitting next to me and about our whole defense, because they played their tails off today.
All right, next up, Jack Sawyer, and I'll let you play reporter. What do you think the first question for Jack Sawyer was about? Yes, you are correct. It was the scoop and score touchdown that really kind of sealed the win for Ohio State. Now, the question was about the play. It wasn't really where the answer went.
Yeah, coaches put us in great spots all game long, and like Coach Day said, that's a really good football team that we just played, and hats go off to them, Coach Sark and Quinn. They're a great team, and they'll be back here, I'm sure, for the next couple of years. And, God is great. He put me in a great position to make a play, and I was fortunate enough to do that. And, the resiliency of this team, from a month ago, and it's been incredible, and it's been led by guys like these two men sitting next to me, and the whole team embodies that role because our leader is like that. I've said it a million times, but man, we sat up here last year, with a sore a sore taste in our mouth and heard a lot of things, and then, you know, come back and heard the same things a month ago, and we kept swinging because this guy next to us, he shows up every day to work, and he loves each and every one of us so much. And, you know, he's the most resilient guy I've ever been around, and that's the reason why you see this team fight so hard each and every week.
This is one of my favorite questions. Put yourself in the shoes or in the helmet of the Ohio State player. Jack Sawyer, what were you thinking as you're running down the sideline on the way to seal that win?
I guess just don't fall like Will did. You know, no, I'm joking. I'm kidding. But no, seriously, I hit about the 30, and I look back. I'm like, I hope I got some blockers. I'm running out of steam here. And they were running with me side by side, and man, that just speaks volumes to who this team is too. You know, we always have each other's back, and it was a special moment. I love Columbus. I love the state of Ohio, and I love Ohio State football. And man, like I said a million times after the game, God is great, and He's put this team in such a great spot, and I'm just so fortunate to be playing in the national championship my last year here.
One really surprising part of the game was the fact that Jeremiah Smith had just one catch for 3 yards. So Will Howard was asked, what did Texas do to take away Jeremiah Smith, and how big was it that guys like Carnell Tate, Emeka Ibuka, G. Scott, Quinshon Judkins, and Travion Henderson all stepped up in that receiving game?
Yeah, we knew that they were going to be keying him. You know, obviously the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, I mean, he went off. So, you know, we knew that they were going to do something to try and take him away. And they were, you know, they clouded him, they doubled him, they were finding different ways to get 2 guys over top of him. But, you know, all that means is that, you know, we need to be smart and get the ball to other guys. And, you know, I think Carnell stepped up, made some great plays. You know, the running backs did a great job. Tight ends had some great catches. And, you know, I think Texas, you know, what they do on defense, they like to keep a shell on things, make you work the game and get the ball down the field methodically. You know, and I think they, you know, credit to them, man. They got a great defense, and they got some dudes. You know, but when it came down to it in the fourth quarter, man, we did what we had to do, and the defense did a hell of a job.
Jack Sawyer grew up in Pickerington, Ohio, just outside of Columbus, a huge Ohio State fan growing up. So what is it like for him to deliver one of the most iconic plays in Ohio State football history?
I'm just so thankful to be able to play for, you know, this coach and this team each and every week. And, you know, we get 10 more days with each other, and that's what means the most to me is we're going to competing for a national championship now, which is something I've always dreamed of bringing back to Columbus since I was a little kid, you know, throwing the football in the backyard with my dad with an Ohio State jersey on. So, you know, I'm just really looking forward to that. And I was fortunate to, you know, make a big-time play, and like a lot of guys did and like this guy did all night long, you know, responding from adversity throughout the game too. And this guy, you know, this guy right here sitting next to me is such a good leader for this team, and he runs the show on offense. And I'm just so proud of the way he played and the offense played and battled through adversity all game long and all year long. So we got a good challenge in Notre Dame. It's a great team, and that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Jack Sawyer and Quinn Ewers shared a connection even before that big play that swung the Cotton Bowl. They were actually roommates at Ohio State back in 2021. Saw them hugging on the field after the game. What did Jack Sawyer say to Quinn Ewers after the game?
Yeah, I mean, he just, you know, I just said, you know, great season. You know, he's a good guy. He's a great dude, and you know, he was my roommate here, and he's had a lot of success, and he's a great person, you know. And I just told him, you know, keep your head up. You played a great game, and you got a great future ahead of you, and you know, stay in touch sometime soon. And you know, shout out to Texas. You know, like me and Will have said, and Coach Dave said, they're a great team and great group of coaches around on that staff. And you know, they punched us hard a few times, and it was a battle all the way to the fourth quarter, like we knew it would.
Next up, you can probably pick out some of the questions here that came from local reporters, Texas reporters, and not Ohio State reporters. Ryan Day was asked a question about how they bounced back from the Michigan game. Exciting new ground to tread for sure, but his answer here went a bunch of really other interesting places.
Well, I think when you look at the guys that we have in our program, you see guys who are tough. You see guys who are resilient. And you see guys that care about each other. You see guys that love being Buckeyes. You're seeing 2 of them right here. Both guys here have 2 different stories. One just got here. But like when I see him get around our team, when I saw him on stage tonight, when I saw him embracing everybody in the locker room, Like, this guy loves his teammates. He's only been here a year, but in such a short period of time, he's made such an amazing impact on our team. He's made an impact on me. There's times where, like, I'm coming to work and, you know, who knows, maybe I'm down, maybe I'm stressed, maybe I'm whatever. And this guy, he picks me up. He has an amazing approach on life. And I told his parents that. Like, they've done a great job with him, but he's also done it himself. Like, the positive mindset that he has. And we lost Seth McLaughlin in practice, and it was a really tough loss for us. Seth was doing a great job, and he and Seth had a great relationship. And that practice showed me some of the best leadership I've ever seen, and resilience. And then the guy over there, I don't know if there's, I mean, sure, you know, we can argue about, I'm sure, who loves being a Buckeye more, but this is somebody who grew up in Columbus, who has always wanted to be a Buckeye, who's always wanted for a moment like this. So to see him get the moment that he had today, I mean, and he's become like family to me. He has, to me and my wife and my kids. And so this is just two guys, Emeka Buka, Travion Henderson, Cody Simon. I mean, I could go through Lathan Ransom. I mean, Donovan Jackson. Like, the story of this team is yet to be told. And no great accomplishments are ever achieved without going through adversity. That's just the truth. And so we've gone through our share of adversity, and that's life. And I've told those guys that. So we're not focused on what's coming down the road. We're not focused on what happened in the past. We're focused on right now and being right where we are. And then at the end, you know, we want to be able to tell the story of this team. And that's really what this team's focused on right now.
Ryan Day was also asked what it means to see someone like Jack Sawyer, who grew up a Buckeye fan and who has had to overcome some adversity to end up doing what he did in the closing minutes of the Cotton Bowl.
I couldn't be prouder. Couldn't be prouder of, you know, I just love stories of guys who go through difficult times, stay loyal, defend the people they love the most, and then come out the back end. I mean, I just love that in life. That's why, you know, Maurice Claret's with us in around the program now. Like, I love guys who go through difficult times, stay strong, defend who they love, and then come out the back end. And you got one right there with this guy right here. This guy was never stronger than when we needed him the most during difficult times. And we've been through difficult times together. That's how you know. How do you know about someone's character? When you go through tough times with them. Everything's easy when things are going well. Everyone can be a front runner. And so, you know, I think we talk about those things because, you know, our story has been, you know, the last couple of years has been, you know, ups and downs. But to see the team play the way that they did in the fourth quarter today, I think that's why that's relevant. That's why we're talking about it. Because I don't think without going through those things, we would have come through the way we did in the fourth quarter. And now we have an opportunity to play for a national championship. And I couldn't be prouder of our guys. Couldn't be. But we got to finish this thing. And they know it. They know it because there's so many great stories to be told.
One of the side storylines going into this game was that Will Howard, as Kansas State's quarterback, had never beaten Texas. He came close, put together one of his best efforts in his career in 2023, but didn't end up pulling it off. So what did it mean for Will Howard to finally beat the Longhorns?
That was, you know, a motivation for me, but man, that didn't mean as much, you know, as keeping this team together. And that's all we wanted to do, man. And we talked about that this whole playoffs is we're fighting for another chance to wear this jersey again and to be with this group again. And the thing that, you know, that hurts me about this, the only thing that I wish I could go back and do different about my time here is I wish I had more time. You know, I wish I had more time with Coach Day. I mean, I've gotten so much better because of him and because of Coach Kelly and because of Billy and just being here. I've gotten, you know, to be so close with guys like Jack and guys like Emeka and guys like, you know, Seth and all these guys that, you know, I only have 1 year with them. You know, I wish that I got a chance to be with these guys longer. And we're trying to draw this thing out as long as we can. And here we are, man. But the job's not finished, and we got to go out there and finish this thing, you know. And it feels great. It feels great to beat those guys, especially, you know, this year they had a great team, and all the respect in the world for Sark and Quinn and all those guys. They have a great defense, but man, job's not finished, and they were standing in our way today.
Another play earlier in the game could very well have gone down as one of the most iconic in Ohio State history. And then it just sort of got lost with all the stuff that happened after it. But that screen pass right before halftime, Texas had just scored with 29 seconds left in the half to tie the game. You thought, oh boy, this might be a rough second half for the Buckeyes. And then one play, 75 yards, Travion Henderson goes the distance. Will Howard and Ryan Day were asked about that play.
I don't think anyone thought that was going for 75 yards. I mean, that was trying to set something up. See, that's kind of a drive starter in that 2-minute scenario. And you run that first play, and we did it in the Tennessee game where we come out and we run the ball, and if you get a positive gain, then maybe we can continue to work our 2-minute drill. But when you got a guy like 32 that can make plays like that, I mean, Carson Hinsman made some unbelievable blocks down the field. The receivers, stayed on their guys, and 32 took off, man. And that was a huge play for us, a huge swing. We talk about winning the middle eight all the time, and that was big.
Yeah, I agree with Will. I mean, that was a huge swing, moment in the game. That and Jack's play really were two big moments. I thought the drive that the offense had there when there was some momentum swings, and we talk about it a lot. When you have momentum, you got to keep it. When you don't, you got to go get it. I felt like we turned that momentum with that long drive. I don't know if it was 16 plays, but it was a bunch of plays. The one that finished with Quinshon's 1-yard run, and then they kind of went down the field. We took a stand there at the 1, and then Jack's return was huge. But the screen, we were laughing a little bit in the locker room, having some fun with it because we do screen drill. And I think sometimes, these guys are like, are we ever going to call a screen? And I actually said to the coaches, I said, we're going to stop doing screen drill because we don't call any dang screens. And so sure enough, what do you want to run? You want to run the ball? You want to take a knee? I said, no, just run the screen. They're like, all right, you sure? Sure enough, it went the whole distance, went for, 75 first play. But Travion has become a 3-down back. Travion is going to be a tremendous pro because not only does he do a good job running the football, but he protects at a high level, and he's a threat with the ball in his hands as a receiver. And that becomes a huge threat, especially when they're looking to take away some of our receivers, in particular Jeremiah. So, hats off to him, but very well executed. The line got out there, and he made a great play because they brought a pressure, and he just got it off, and Travion went down and catch it. I mean, another huge play in the game, yeah.
And finally, Ryan Day and Will Howard here again. This is about that last touchdown drive to take a 21-14 lead. Just like the last one, Texas had just tied the game. Buckeyes had their backs against the wall there. They're starting from their own 12-yard line, and what do? 13 plays, 88 yards, chewed up more than half of the fourth quarter. What was the mood like for the offense as they headed back out on the field for that drive?
Yeah, I'll just start by saying I felt like we were stopping ourselves on offense with the penalties. And I think that was the conversation that was being had on the sideline and the locker room at halftime. Like we got to stop hurting ourselves with these penalties. Because that was frustrating. I felt like we had a good rhythm. We were making some nice plays, executing, okay, good enough. But then when you get some of these penalties, and they were big penalties, holding, 15-yarders, and that was really getting us, behind the sticks. So we knew we just had to buckle down, and like Will said, they were kind of keeping it in front. When you do that, you got to execute and move the ball all the way down the field. And now that I'm looking at it, it was 13 plays, 88 yards, and took 7:45 off the clock. At that moment, I was getting a little concerned that the defense was getting worn out because we were not on the field very much, and we needed a big long drive, and that's what these guys answered with. And obviously, Will was the leader in the huddle.
Yeah, I second all of that. I mean, that was a statement drive, man. And like he said, we'd been beating ourselves. We just knew that we had to, work the game and just continue to just swing and take shots and body blows, man. It wasn't pretty at all times. It was taking some checkdowns. A 4th and 2. Yep. It took a lot. 13 plays, 88 yards. That's we talked about before the game. We're going to have to work this game, and we're going to have to methodically move the ball down the field. And I'm just so proud of our offense that we were able to get the game. And we talk about all the time, get the game to the fourth quarter, man, and that's where we'll win it. And we lean back on our training and all that work that we put in, man. That's for that time. And I'm just so proud of our guys, man. The O-line played great on that drive. Guys made some plays, and we were able to punch it in. So that was great.
And like Will said, the third down, I forget what the down and distance was, but we said to him, if we can get this thing to a fourth and manageable, we're going to go for it. And he got it to 4th and 2. Big play. And those are like the little things that, as an experienced guy, you understand, in that moment. And that was huge. And then having the ability to do with his feet on 4th and 2, we went back and forth and figured, we're going to call this one or not. And he got us into the right call. And then the offensive line did a great job rocking off the ball. And so that was a huge play in the game as well.
There will probably be a little more Cotton Bowl stuff to talk about, and we will certainly do some recap shows with Ross Fulton, our X's and O's guru, coming up this week. But we're going to start officially turning the page to the national championship game on Sunday. Have a press conference with Ryan Day back in Columbus. Start with that, and then I'll get a chance to hear from Marcus Freeman as well, Notre Dame head coach. And then we'll sort of be off and running. It is going to be a very compressed week of coverage. We're going to have a ton of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about all of it at BuckeyeHuddle.com. That's where Tony, Kevin, and I cover the team. Mark covers recruiting. And, of course, we have our whole team of X's and O's gurus there to make you a smarter football fan. That is all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. This would be a great time to become a member. Just $4.99 for your first month. Will there be stuff to talk about this week? I suspect that there will. We would love to have you there talking about all of it with us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.